Hello, it's Julie. How are you? And today, the one thing that special needs parents want to tell you, but they won't. Oh boy. Well, if you don't know, my son has Tourette's. He's not, by far, not as worse off as some kids, but it still comes with a lot of things to deal with. And especially lately, with kids in general not being very nice, but there's also grown-ups that aren't the nicest either. So I wanted to speak for some of us and say some of the things that, you wish that they knew, because not everybody is going to, say the right thing. Like, when there's a pregnant person and you go touch their belly, like, that's a no. But, it's like an unspoken thing. So there are 11.2 million kids under 18 with special needs. That's a lot of kids, basically 1 in 5 families. Obviously ranging from like an anxiety type disorder or down total opposite with multiple issues and a lot to deal with. So that is definitely it is the hardest job ever. And a lot of those parents don't complain. I've never really heard any of them complain, and they don't reach out for help, and they are the most deserving of it. But let's just cut to this. Okay, so number one, even when it looks like they're all put together and they got it under control, they're good. They're good at that. So just don't assume. Just ask if there's anything. Sometimes it's just the thought that counts, so that you're actually seen and you know that somebody can see you and for what you're doing. So just ask, sometimes it's even just a hug, like, you got this. All right. Just keep that in mind. Number 2 is that it's not always easy to get out. And I know that people have called and last minute, like, hey, do you want to go do this? And you're like, if you didn't prep your kid for that and they don't know and you can't do spontaneous, it's not that we're trying to be a bad person or turn down your offer over and over again. That's not the case. So sometimes you just can't do it. You can't be spontaneous with a lot of these disorders. So we're not just avoiding you. And kind of leads me to number 3 is, like, if you have a friend that's a parent like this, don't give up on them. Don't stop reaching out, because, every time we ask to go, they don't go. And don't give up and just leave them because they're going to say no. Sometimes it's the thought that counts too. Having breaks, aren't always something that we can even fathom having. So just don't give up on that friend either. So if you're curious, which usually people are, and that's, like with kids, that's when they get mean, just ask. If there's something you want to know, like, what is the actual condition of your child, ask. Don't assume. Don't, tiptoe around or make up things that sometimes it's awkward and you don't know what to say. I'll go over that another time. But just ask. Don't, like, the elephant in the room. If you think, like, how are they doing? How's mom doing? If somebody wants to know something, just ask, instead of making it worse. Which also kind of leads me to the next one about your kids. Obviously, there's a whole anti-bullying thing in schools, and it's been around forever, but clearly it's not working, because I hear some horrible things about kids just being horrible, honestly. Whether they have an actual disability or not, some kids are just nasty. So I really, really, really wish more parents, and I know if you're probably listening to this, you're probably already a good parent, but just the need to explain to kids, don't be a jerk. Sometimes they're invisible illnesses too. Like my son, he looks okay. He seems okay. He's a pretty awesome kid. But he does a lot of strange things. And, kids are like, oh, well, let's not ask him about it. Let's just be nasty, and it's awful. So I encourage you all to talk to your kids about this stuff, I'm sure you do, but it just needs to be more talked about and put in everybody's head, because it's not right. And that's 5. But I have a big list of other things that you can do too, that a lot of these parents wish people knew. If you would like the rest of those things and help out a friend, let me know in the comments or leave me a message and I will get the rest of it to you, okay? Have a good day.